So I just finished watching the movie Arrival for the second time. I saw it with my children when it came out of the movie theater, and it just is a wonderful movie in lots of ways. And I had just a different perspective seeing it for the second time. And it came with something else that happened today. And often in life on planet Earth, because I've talked about this, we learn through conflict. Life on planet Earth, there is a resolution of two polar oppositional forces. And that's how we progress, unfortunately, on planet Earth. And it makes life on planet Earth difficult. And this is from Huffington Post. So this goes along with the movie Arrival. And I'm going to pull these things together and talk about how these things often work for me. And it says Stephen Colbert and Audrey Plaza hatch perfect plan to get dogs adopted. And they also used the word that they were using fake news. That's why I originally looked at this headline. And what it was is a short comedy sketch that wasn't very funny. But it was Stephen Colbert and this actress Audrey Plaza taking puppies that belonged to some rescue shelter and lying about them, and so they could get the dogs adopted. He introduced Audrey Plaza as something like an expert liar. I don't remember exact words. He said she's an expert liar or trained liar or something, which all actors and actresses are. And it was interesting because I knew I was going to make a video on this, and I didn't have the full concept yet until watching this movie Arrival again. I didn't really know exactly what the point of the video I'm making now is, but I knew that this was a part of it. But I just didn't have all the pieces, and this often happens, where I sense, well, here's something that I have to present, but the full pieces, all the pieces of the puzzle, I haven't gotten the pattern yet. I haven't seen what I need to say. Because earlier, the day before, yesterday, I had this thought. I remembered the show Three's Company, and how the John Ritter character, who died an untimely and early death, was being a roommate with two girls, and this was back in the 80s. And the owner of the apartment, the landlord, didn't want to rent to a girl and two girls and one guy. So the John Ritter character, his name was Jack, and the girls cooked up a lie that he was gay. And so the whole premise of this show was sort of based around this lie. And I just thought about this yesterday, and I realized how many times through Gilligan's Island and The Brady Bunch, Bewitched, and then all these shows that followed, these sitcoms and movies and things that I watched, how many times that lying was being shown to you being shown to me over and over again. And then today I watched this thing with Stephen Colbert where they do a whole comedy sketch where they're lying about these puppies to make them more appealing to people so they'll be adopted. And everyone's laughing about it. And in seeing this movie Arrival and seeing the military involved and how they're portrayed in the movie, I realized that everything in our culture is based in deception, force, manipulation, abuse, fear-based lies, lies in competition, lies of withholding information, lives of withholding information. And lies are embedded. Dishonesty is embedded in every aspect of our culture. Of course, you have the intelligence communities and these sorts of things that exist in withholding information, disinformation, the controllers giving you lies, but then everybody else lying to your loved ones, people manipulating each other, playing each other to gain some sort of advantage. And this is how our society is constructed. Our monetary system is a lie in itself. It's a valueless system that we trade things based in something that has no value. Our currency has no value. In fact, it's less than zero. It's debt. It's an IOU. It has a negative value, and it's considered wealth. And everything is upside down and satanic and based in deception. And people think you can fix this society But this society has been built out of lies and deception. And seeing this movie, The Arrival, just sort of brought that into full focus for me. See, the thing is, to conduct your daily lives and to see, everyone has attachments. We have things. I have my cup of chai. There's things I like about the internet. There's parks, like taking, baths, hot water, these types of things, electronic devices, being able to drive my car, going far distances and things like that with my children so we can go to parks and go camping, and just all the things that appeal to you or appeal to me in this society. We all have them. We all have things that get us by, things we look forward to at the end of the day, comfortable comforts that we have, these types of things. And they are based in this system. They're good things that we have that are based in this deceptive system. And the price that we have to pay when the system comes down, the things that we have to give up, our attachments to this materialistic lifestyle, and some of our free time and things. I know what it's like to live on a farm. I have an idea of what it's like to have to grow your own food, and the constant amount of work and stress and things that you endure trying to survive without a system, the system that we have now, that makes our lives a lot easier. The only problem is that all of these things that we get, these perks, these things that sort of buy our silence and buy our cooperation, are based in a system that is inevitably going to collapse from its own dishonesty. And that's the simple fact. It's based in dishonesty. It's based in lies. It's not based in godly principles. It's not being backed by God and nature. Only for a time being, it's being propped up just so that we can move in a certain direction. We can advance in certain ways, but it eventually is going to collapse based in its own deception. It's going to fall from the weight of its own dishonesty. And very few people understand this or really can accept it, because what's waiting for us on the other side is harsh living conditions and difficulties and just the shock. It's like going from land to sea to outer space and these types of things. It's such a shock. The condition of the world will be so much different. We won't have all this electromagnetic energy that's poisoning us, that's polluting our atmosphere, but also we're used to it. We're used to living with this poison. We're used to living with the various toxins that we get in our food and these types of things. Going to a pure environment, a healthy environment, it's like getting cold turkey off of heroin or something, crack or something worse. And that's what so many people are going to have to experience all at once. So it's difficult. It's scary. And because we're stuck in our ways, we like our lifestyle. So we desperately cling to the idea, people think Trump is going to solve things, or there's some way to fix the system, and there's some way for us so that we don't have to go through this process. But it's happening. It's inevitable. It's happening in the near future. Most of us are going to see it. Most of us are going to experience it. And it's just something we have to deal with. No one wants to hear this, but it's something we have to prepare ourselves for. Because the other option is you just give up and you quit. And a lot of people, they're just going to quit. It's just going to be too hard for them. They're just not flexible enough. When the lies die, they're going to die along with it. They can't make the leap from this world to the next stage that we all have to go through, the harsh conditions that are going to lead to a better world. And the reason I'm saying this, and the reason that this Arrival movie brought this into full focus, is because there's a beautiful part to the movie. This is a spoiler alert, because if you haven't seen the movie, I'm basically going to talk about the ending a little bit. And part of what happens in this movie is that the main character, Louise, played by Amy Adams, she did a brilliant job, just really well acted. Well, just a great movie. That she ended up having the gift of being able to see the future, the curse and the gift of being able to see the future. And one of the things, and in that gift, she knew that she was going to have a daughter that was going to eventually die at an early age in her teens. And she chose to have her daughter anyway, because she really didn't have a choice. And I talk about my book, The Choice, quite a bit. And there is one real choice that I made in my life, and that was basically to give my life over to the service of God. And I didn't fully understand what that choice was, but once you make that choice, then you're outside the confines of your materialistic world, and you're on a path based on your soul's path, and you no longer really have the ability to deviate from that course of action. It would be disastrous. Once you've committed to a spiritual life, committed to a spiritual path, then you follow what God wants you to do, regardless of how it appears to you, regardless of the consequences of your decisions and your actions. You're no longer bound to your own egotistical whims and desires. You have to just see your course of action through. And part of this is I've noticed in my own life that I have been lured into a course of action before I made this choice to serve God, but even afterwards, where I was led to believe by the limited information that was presented to me that the course that I was following was going to lead me to something that I wanted, that's something that was desirable, and that it was going to have a happy ending. It was going to have a good outcome, and that if I worked hard enough and I stayed true to this course, that the outcome of this course of action was going to be rewarding on the material level at some point in the future. And then last year, 2 years ago, all of that came crashing down. And I realized afterwards, in retrospect, that life on planet Earth, we're limited in the information we have because many of us wouldn't make the choices that we make, the soul choices that we make, if we knew what was going to be the outcome of the events. Because we watch all these stupid movies with their happily ever after, and we think that everybody can live those kind of lives, and that's simply not the case. And some of this had to do with the collapse of my marriage, but also the whole family unit. We were going to live on intergenerational family farm. I thought, being a research team, learning about homesteading and learning about alternative paths of existence, alternative ways of living in the world. Living the pockets of the future idea was people living today the way everyone's going to live tomorrow. And so we were pioneers and scouts, and we were going to bring this information back into our spiritual organization because those were our peers, and there was going to be community support, and we were going to be viewed as, well, this was a benefit, that this was a gift that we were giving to our spiritual brothers and sisters. And all of that collapsed all at once. My marriage, my family, and this idea that somehow what we were doing was going to be appreciated. And I really can't tell you how god-awful that felt. I mean, it was absolutely brutal. And all the positive things that I viewed in my ex-wife, all the positive qualities that she had, that I thought she was a better person, that I was focusing in on those positive qualities and all these types of things, the love between us and all of this, things that I was clinging to, and this idea that sometime in the future there was going to be some reward for years and years of strife and difficulties, living on the homestead, going through all kinds of different conflicts, living in what I consider some sort of a haunted house. It was just brutal. And then to have it end, and I realized that I wasn't in a romantic comedy. We weren't in some kind of family drama, some kind of family movie. I was in a horror show, and that I felt completely deceived and betrayed, and I really felt set up by God. And it brought out this inner bitterness that I had from a previous existence, a deep inner bitterness towards God, and feeling tricked, feeling deceived, feeling basically set up. And it just, through this difficult process, it pulled out this inner poison from my spiritual condition, and I just felt great. And there was a lot of other things that got pulled out, negativity in my system. I had a tendency to blame and just be a negative person, and it pulled all these things out of my inner condition. And I felt so much better as a human being, and it just changed my consciousness. The reason there's people listening to this video right now is because I went through this process, and it changed the way I see the world. This is why I can make a video like this one. I can watch this movie Arrival, see this thing by Stephen Colbert, have a few thoughts in my meditation, have some things together and put them together into some cohesive type of narrative that I think is beneficial for people. But also my heart has been opened through these painful events that I went through, these god-awful events. And on an ego level, on a human level, it was just like I was getting pummeled. It was like the worst possible outcome to basically the culmination of my 49 years of life at the time. I'm now 52. And so I worked for 49 years and then just basically had failure stamped on my forehead. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like that kid in the Simpsons show that always is going, ha ha. It was like that. And it was just unbelievably rough. But because of the pain and because of all the circumstances and because of just how spirituality works, it opened my heart, and my heart like expanded. And then this energy is now given through this YouTube channel. The YouTube channel took off, and the way that I interact with my children, the way I perceive life, the way I conceptualize life has been changed in a way that I'm on a different level of consciousness through this pain and suffering. And so through this pain and suffering, I have something to offer. There is something to offer, and it isn't information. Information is presented on this channel, and I talk about being a member of the truth community. But in all reality, it's not that I'm presenting information here. It's that there is love flowing through my heart and through my voice, apparently, into these videos, and my consciousness has changed, and that's what's being presented. So it's a way to pass on my own condition, the things that have happened to me through this spiritual process, and the gratitude that I feel for even these, especially for these difficult circumstances, because I had a realization of a past life, 2 past lives where I was sort of a famous person, a person that died with a bitterness towards God, and the previous life that this person had where he wasn't a good king, that I was a bad king for many, many years. And I realized that last year that no matter what happened to me, it was cleaning out these negative things that I had done in the past. And that this is a life of redemption. So like, I don't know, for example, that Alex Jones and I don't know, maybe other people on this in the truth community might talk about the same information, but this isn't that we have anything to do with each other. Because what's being presented here, Alex Jones is a fear-based person, for example. It's not to run him down, but he uses a sort of Chicken Little, the sky is falling thing to bring people in. He is perpetrating fear and these types of things. And that's not what's being presented here. What I'm saying is everything is going the way it's supposed to go because our system of lies has to crumble. The beast of lies, the system that is based in, we want to call it Satanism, it's the reversal, what I call the great usurpers in my book, The Choice. And if you make the choice to serve God, then you'll pay whatever price you have to get closer to God, to open your heart and elevate your consciousness and your vibrational level to where you can conceptualize and think about life in a totally different way, where you can choose the right course of action, like this main character in the movie The Arrival, even if it has an undesirable result in the end, even if it has something that you don't want to experience, even if your worst fears are going to be realized, that you can endure them and you could go through them and you will be successful because your soul is prepared to endure these things. That after the collapse, you have hidden abilities, you have gears in your system that you haven't exercised yet, abilities to function on a higher level, and you have a capacity that isn't being utilized in this pleasure-based existence where you're just sort of killing time. You're not being challenged, you're not being push to your full extent of your abilities. And once you get into those situations, you'll become a much bigger and better person than you ever would have imagined, because the difficulties that you have to face will pull out of you these wonderful qualities, these dormant qualities that you possess. And so this is, in a way, my gift for humanity. This is what I have to share. Everyone has something that they can contribute to their brothers and sisters. And so that's how I conceive of this YouTube channel. And so when you get people that are like, I don't know, excuse my language, or finger fucking me over details, small minor details in comments and trying to pick for flaws. And of course I'm going to make mistakes. Of course I'm not going to be right about everything, because I'm an impure conduit of this energy that's coming from a higher plane of existence. But it's the energy and it's the consciousness that you're getting here. And of course the information is there, but it's also there to keep people interested. And that I'm willing to dive into the celebrity culture and these types of things to make contact with people, to pull people in. And I get people who are spiritual say, why do you make so many celebrity videos? I like your spiritual videos better. And I would say to them, 2 years ago, you weren't at this YouTube channel when I wasn't making celebrity videos, for example. Because, I've got people wrote horrific comments that are questioning my character, things like this, whining about these things like I'm supposed to be exactly who they want me to be. But what about all the other people? What about your brothers and sisters that need to hear about God within their hearts, who are indoctrinated by the celebrity culture, but they will get something, they will learn something, they will feel something, even if it doesn't register right away from one of these videos. Of course, the flat earth people, and I've had vegans, and I get people from the Christian community, they're saying I'm going to hell because the spiritual practice that I do that they know absolutely nothing about, and that's been backed and endorsed by Jesus, is somehow demonic because they read some shit about yoga from some angry and fear-based person that misinterpreted Jesus's teachings because they've never really felt God's love in their entire existence. And so what I'm saying here is this is a gift that's given freely, but I don't work for you, I work for God. And that I'm not going to tolerate these types of disrespectful comments and hateful, because I feel the energy and it bums me out. The least you could do is be respectful. I expect respect from you. You're given higher level of consciousness. I work tirelessly to make sure that I'm in the best possible mood, that I'm not in a negative mood when I present these videos. So you're getting the best of me as a human being, not my small self, not my character flaws and these types of things. That I choose my words carefully. I'm being respectful. I'm being calm and these types of things. I'm not infusing it with negative energy and negative emotions, fear and anger, but that there is some peace that can be experienced through listening to these videos. And you can be respectful. That's why I just ban people, because I don't want to hang out with you. If you're, going to act like a punk, you're going to be a negative person or whatever, and you come to you're using racially charged words or any of these types of things. There's just no need for it. Be respectful, be an adult, or don't comment. You just keep it to yourself. Don't dump your negative energy on other people. People do this to their loved ones, and they certainly do this in YouTube and these other places. That's why I ban people if there's any of these things, because I have to read through these comments because people say beautiful things. They say nice things, insightful things. A lot of my ideas for videos come from the interactions, but there's a lot of comments for me to go through. I get emails from people. I have conversations with people on the phone, things like that from this YouTube channel. And I have Facebook requests and these types of things. So there's no need for me to read somebody's 14-paragraph comment telling me what an asshole I am. It's just, why would I want that? Why would anybody want that? Just think about that in a way that you're not thinking from a selfish, narcissistic place. And you don't have to, I'm not using force here, and I hope people appreciate that. that religious organizations, science, the mainstream media, your government are all forcing things down your throat. The wonderful thing about the Heartfulness meditation system is a second master of the system called the transmission that's given the forceless force. And the idea is that he would transmit his essence, the essence that he received from merging with God at the highest level a human being could merge with God. It's called Laya Vista, where the human being is no longer there and the person is completely filled with divine energy. And that's what's being shared in this wonderful meditative system. And that people will come and go based in their experiences of this. And they're welcome to go. There's no pressure. There's no coercion. There's no promises of a heaven or fear of a hell. You just get the transmission, and you either like it and you come back, or you don't, and you don't come back. And so this is a wonderful thing, and I use this same attitude for this YouTube channel. If you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't appreciate it, other people are benefiting from it. And so you can go somewhere else. This isn't for you. That's fine. I wish you well. I'm not saying this channel and the information and the energy presented is for everyone. But the people that stay and comment, participate, and become part of whatever, some sort of social group that interact with me and other people on this channel through the comments, just need to be respectful. And hopefully what you would give to me is just some sense of gratitude that this is something that feel like you're receiving something. Be grateful, because that's the most important thing. My marriage ended because my ex-wife wasn't grateful for me as a human being. You need two people. I'm going to make a separate video about this. And a couple, both being grateful for the other person and being grateful for God. And when you're in a state of gratitude, you appreciate things. You appreciate your life. You appreciate even your troubles. And you're grateful to God for whatever he gives you. And when you can reach that state, it's a wonderful state. I think all of us need to aspire to, being grateful for all that's given to us for our benefit, knowing that it's for our benefit. There are people like this, saintly people with great faith in God, that go through difficult circumstances, horrific circumstances, much worse than what I've gone through, their entire lives, and they have a good attitude. They're always happy. Oh, God's blessing me. Even though their lives, you look at it and you go, their lives are complete crap. And yet they just have this positive attitude. They can endure all kinds of different pains and all kinds of things that seem unfair, and they seem like God is out to get them, and yet they take everything that God gives them as a wonderful gift, and they're just loving and happy and joyous to be around. Wonderful people. There are people like that in this world. And we should all aspire, each person should aspire to look at the bigger picture of our lives, the long-term goals of our souls, and move to a higher level of consciousness and use this life to get us closer and closer to the divine source. And I hope that people don't see that I'm not feeling negative about any of these things. I feel like this is a blessing. Having this channel is a blessing. Being able to make these videos is a blessing. And I've interacted with so many wonderful people through this YouTube channel, and I'm just grateful for all of that. And I'm grateful to be able to do these types of things. And the gratitude needs to be reciprocal. That's all I'm saying. It's something where I'm happy doing this, and I hope that people are happy receiving this. And if you're not happy, then please don't waste your time here. Go somewhere else and be happy. If I don't agree with you on 100%, I mean, there's no way you're going to have people that agree 100%. You don't have to tell me, I don't agree with everything you say. Yeah, you know what? I didn't think you would. I'm not saying that everybody should. I don't think there's any two people in this whole universe that agree completely. So this isn't about beliefs. This is about a shared consciousness. This is about people that share a sort of a similar spiritual consciousness. They're operating on a similar plane of existence. People's souls are on different levels and have different attributes and have different ways of perceiving the world. And there are people that you meet that you feel like they're strangers to you. Maybe your family. Lots of us have grown up in families that we don't connect or identify with the other people in our families. And yet there are people that resonate with us, and our souls are from a similar place and have a similar perception of reality. And when you can connect to those types of people, it's a wonderful thing. All right, so I made an earlier video, I don't remember what it's called, about gratitude. And now there's this one. And I think I got to at least make one more about couples and being grateful and talk about that because it's important. And then maybe some other video about gratitude. But it's really an important concept. We should be grateful and happy for what we're doing. Otherwise, why do it? Why live a forced life going through some kind of forced march where you feel put upon and you're angry and you're bitter and these types of things? Find something that you enjoy, find something to make you grateful. And if you don't like it, then just go somewhere else. I mean, we all have that ability in our choice of how we spend our time. This is Paul Romano reporting from the apocalypse, and everybody have a wonderful night and a blessed day tomorrow.